instrument of the knower. The pure self cannot be a knower. To become a knower and to perform action, that superimposition of the subtle and gross bodies is necessary. Knowership and action are possible only for one who has the notions of I and mine with regard to the sense organs and the body. Unless he becomes a knower, his sense organs cannot function. In deep sleep, he has no identification with the senses and the body, and so he is not a knower. Here, the term senses includes the mind also. In deep sleep, there is no identification with the mind. In the dream state, there is superimposition of the mind only. In dream, the vasanas in his subtle body produces various experiences for him. But these experiences are not caused or prompted by him as a knower. So these are not the activities of the senses. He can be called a knower only when he prompts the senses and the body to action. In the waking state, his consciousness is directed outwards, and so he is Bahishprajna. In dream, there is superimposition of the subtle body alone. Only when the self is associated with the senses, there can be action. Prakartakara raises another question. Soldiers fight a battle, but the victory or defeat is attributed to the king, though the king does not participate in the fighting. Similarly, why can't the senses function without prompting by the self? The answer is that the king pays wages to the soldiers and provides other amenities to them. He thus indirectly prompts them to fight. So also, the self has to be associated with the senses in order to make the senses function. Then another question arises. Superimposition of the senses alone is sufficient. What is the need for the superimposition of the gross body also? The answer to this is that the senses cannot function without the gross body as adhisthana or locus. The senses are part of the subtle body, but they have corresponding physical organs in the gross body such as the eyes, ear, nose, etc. These are called golaka. Without these, the senses cannot function. When the subtle body departs from the gross body on death, it is carried to other worlds by various devatas. The sense organs in the subtle body cannot then do anything because they are no longer located in the gross body. They can function only through the golakas in the gross body. A person who has no identification with the gross body cannot have such notions as I am a knower, doer, enjoyer, etc. It is only when there is superimposition of the gross body on the self that one can say I am so and so, etc. The self can become a knower, pramata, only if there is identification with the subtle as well as the gross bodies. Without the person becoming a knower, the senses cannot function. Knowledge of Brahman arises only to a person who is a pramata, that is, one who identifies himself with the two bodies. Not only the karma kanda, but also the jnana kanda is only for one with the superimposition of the two bodies. The object of moksha, shastra, is to destroy adhyasa, but it can be studied and practiced only by a person who has identification with the two bodies. The Acharya further says that the behavior of even the person who has mastered Vedanta is not different from that of animals in the matter of worldly dealings. pashvadipischa visheshat. Though he has acquired discrimination, it is only paroksha, indirect, and it is obscured during worldly dealings. In deep sleep also, there is no difference between a learned man and one who is not learned. When a cow sees a person coming towards it with a stick, it infers that he is coming to attack it and runs away. When a person comes with grass in his hands, it infers that the person comes to feed it and goes towards him. Yadha hi pashvadayah shabdadibhi kshetradinam sambhave yeti shabdati vijnane pratikule jate tato nivartante anukule cha pravartante. यथा दंडोद्यतकरं पुरुषमाभि मुखमुये लभ्य मां हन्तु मयमिच्छतेति फलादितुमारभन्ते हरितं तृणपून पाणिमुपलभ्यतं प्रत्यभिमुखः भवन्ति. एवं पुरुषापि व्यपत्तन्न चिन्ताः दूरदृष्टिनाक्रोशतः खण्डोज्झतकरान् बलवत् उपलभ्य ततो विवर्धन्ते तत्विपरीतान् प्राति प्रवर्तन्ते. अत एमानः पर्यादिभिः पुरुषाणां प्रमाण प्रमेय व्यवहारः. Thus, the animal uses both direct perception and inference to decide what to do. In other words, it is also a knower, pramata, because of adhyasa. Thus, there is similarity between even learned persons and animals in the matter of worldly dealings. Now, it may be asked, what has been said is true of worldly dealings. But what about actions performed in accordance with the injunctions of the Vedas? The answer is that adhyasa of the bodies is necessary for these also. A person performs yajna for attaining heaven. For this he must know that he has an atma different from the gross body, because he knows that the gross body cannot go to heaven. But it is not necessary for him to know that the atma is unattached, free from hunger, thirst, etc., and does not transmigrate as stated in Vedanta. If he has acquired this knowledge, then he will not do any karma for going to heaven, etc. Moreover, he should identify himself as a Brahmana, for whom alone some of the rituals are prescribed. Thus, adhyasa is necessary for a person to engage in any action, including those prescribed in the Vedas. Until a person realizes that he is the pure self, the Shastras are applicable. It has been established that there is mutual superimposition between the self, which is pure consciousness, and the not self, consisting of the body, mind and senses. Such a superimposition is essential for jiva to become a knower, pramata. Only if the jiva becomes a pramata, he can experience objects through the sense organs. Only then he becomes a seer, hearer, thinker, etc. Even for the Shastra to be applicable, there has to be superimposition. For performing the rituals laid down in the Vedas for attaining heaven, the person should know that there is a self which is different from the gross body and which will continue after death. But he need not know the real nature of the self as described in Vedanta. If he knows the real nature of the self, it will be an obstacle to his performing the rituals laid down in the Vedas, because there is nothing to be attained by such a person. Rituals are laid down based on caste such as Brahmana, etc., ashrama, age, etc. So a person has to identify himself as Brahmana or Gruhastha, etc., to perform rituals. All these relate to the body. Such identification is possible only if there is adhyasa of the body on the self. Superimposition has been defined in the Bhashya as the cognition of one thing as something else. Nacre is cognized as silver, rope as snake, etc. The consequence of the mutual superimposition of the self and the not self is that when a person's wife, son, etc. is happy, he is also happy. When they are unhappy, he is also unhappy. He thus attributes to himself the joys and sorrows of those near and dear to him. Similarly, he attributes to himself the qualities of his gross body, such as stoutness, etc. The qualities of his senses, such as blindness, deafness, etc., and the qualities of his mind, such as thinking, deciding, etc. Wife, son, etc., who are external to the body are known as Gauna Atma. The body, mind, and senses are known as Midhya Atma. Here, Prakatardhakara raises a question and answers it. A person sees in himself the joys and sorrows of his wife, son, etc.